Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have on a special guest. We have on State Representative Jenny Armini for the 8th Essex District. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So I'll start off with the first thing. You're a first-time rep, so what made you decide to run?
I love public service. I love serving the community. When Rep. Lori Ehrlich decided that she wasn't going to run again, she got a terrific job at FEMA. I said, this is for me. I'd done a lot of political work in the community, and I created an organization called Elect Blue that drew from Marblehead and Swampscott, and it was a natural fit. I'd also worked in Washington, worked on Beacon Hill. I've been in and around politics for a long time, but on the staff side, and so my skills are in this area, and I feel like if I'm going to contribute to the community, this would be the best way to do it.
And in your first few months, how has it been so far being on the rep side now as opposed to the staff side?
Yeah, it's different. It's very different, but you really, the opportunity to make change is so exciting. I've taken the approach of really using this time to learn and develop relationships. And, you don't walk into a place like the Massachusetts House of Representatives and tell them how to do their business. That's not gonna fly. So I've been, finding mentors, and the Lynn delegation, Senator Crichton, Reps Cahill and Capano, they've been amazing teachers. And so I've spent a lot of time learning.
Definitely. And you're seen out at a lot of events. You're very visible out in the community.
Right.
Why do you think that's so important to be really involved in the community you represent?
Well, that's where you connect with people. If you stayed in the office all day long, there's no way you would understand exactly what's going on in the community, what people are worried about, what they want you to do. I just feel like the more I'm out there, the better. Because that's how I learn, and then that's how I serve.
And serving, and what do you feel that you have learned talking to people and really going out and connecting?
So, in the 8th Essex District, it's so interesting. It's Marblehead, Swampscott, and Lynn, and it is coastal from top to bottom, right? Goes from the tip of Marblehead down to the Nahant Rotary. And so you can imagine people are really concerned about the effects of climate change. And particularly I would say, also in Lynn and Swampscott, Kings Beach is an enormous concern. Yeah. The beach has been closed about 90% of the summer, which is an absolute tragedy, especially for the people of Lynn. It is the only beach for this city of 100,000 people. And so I've spent a good amount of time getting up to speed on what the issues are and what our options are, and working with the mayor and our delegation and the state agencies to figure out a solution to this. So that's definitely a concern. Housing affordability, another concern, education. And when I'm out there talking to people, I hear their stories. This isn't just policy, right? These are people's lives.
Right. Yeah, and you actually led in perfectly to another question, because you're on committees and have sponsored bills that really do focus on global warming, climate change, environmental. That really has been your focus, which, as you just said, makes sense.
Right.
Given where you are.
Right, so I've sponsored, there's a bill, it's called the Future of Clean Heat, and that is to try and encourage the utilities to invest in what's called geothermal heating, using the Earth's temperature and water rather than fossil fuels. It's an emerging technology, but it's something we should definitely try. Another bill promotes the planting of trees, which doesn't sound like it has to do with climate change, but trees actually absorb carbon dioxide. They're a natural decarbonizer. So bills like that, I think, could be really helpful in our fight.
And as you are looking forward, like I said, you're a few months into your term, what are some sort of more long-term goals that you have as a rep?
Well, most definitely cleaning up Kings Beach.
Yep.
You know, that is, and I hope it's not, to be honest, I hope it's not too long-term of a goal. You know, I want it done today, ideally, but that's not going to happen. But it's getting it done as fast as possible. I would like to help with the state supporting housing creation, development, so that the prices of our housing can come down and families can move back. Young people can move back to the district and build their families, and seniors can stay in the communities they've lived in their whole lives. And again, you know, working on climate change and making sure that our coast is secure when we have, you know, Hurricane Lee is on its way.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone has a pit in their stomach hoping that it doesn't hit us. But storms are getting more frequent and they're getting stronger. And so we need to be prepared for that.
Being prepared for everything that's coming, and even like you said with housing, like I'm very fortunate that I have come from a place of stability, but even I can't move out without having 4 roommates if I want to stay here.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And you know, someone like you you've lived your whole life here, your family's here, you have a stake in this community. You're exactly the type of person we want to stay and build your life here.
Yeah.
And so we've got to figure out a way to build more housing, because that's really what it comes down to. We don't have enough, and that's why the prices are so high.
The supply and demand of it.
Yep. It's sadly that simple and that complicated.
Yeah, it's both. And you were mentioning too the way that you build mentorships and you learn from others.
Yeah.
In the State House. How's that going?
It's, you know, I have to say, I honestly can't say enough about my colleagues. They have been incredibly warm, incredibly welcoming. I think some people have this image of, you know, the House and politicians being sort of power hungry and menacing, and they are not like that at all. They've been very eager to help me learn, and I really value that.
Because it's very much, it's a team. Like you co-sponsor bills, you all need to work together to really get things done.
Well, that's exactly right. And when it comes to this particular part of the world, working together is especially helpful because, you know, in Lynn, you have a lot of complex issues, and you know, bringing the influence of someone like a Senator Creighton, who's chair of the Transportation Committee, with Rep. Dan Cahill, who's chair of the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, you know, bringing together, you know, their influence, their knowledge, just gets things done.
Really opening that line of communication.
Right. It's teamwork, really.
Yeah. It's realizing I may not know everything, but I know this, and this other person knows that, and then we combine it.
Well, and that's where humility comes in. And that's what I'm saying. You cannot walk into a legislature and tell people how to do their jobs. You've got to learn first, and you've got to listen. Listening is such an important part of this job. You know, listen more than talk.
I will ask you, though, what would you say has been one of sort of the highlights, I suppose, so far in your tenure as a rep?
Well, it hasn't been that long. It's only been, 8 months or so? 9 months? 8, 9 months? So, like I said, I've been spending more of my time learning, but the highlight is really building the relationships and getting, you know, building the foundation to get things done. That's what I've enjoyed, and that's what I see as really valuable, but also getting to know the community at a deeper level. As you say, I love going out and going to events and talking to people. That's a highlight for me. That's what I get. I feed off that energy.
But that's a great quality for a rep.
Thank you.
You have to know the people and the places you're representing.
Absolutely.
As the entire delegation does.
Right, and you know, every district can be a little different and with different concerns, and that's why you've got to, like I said, always be listening.
Right. And I will have to wrap up in a moment, but is there anything else you wanted to mention that I didn't hit on or anything else?
I feel very fortunate to have this job. Serving these 3 communities is an unbelievable privilege. And one of the things that the approach that I take, particularly with, you know, Lynn is a small part of my district in particular. But what I like to communicate with Marblehead and Swampscott is that Lynn is very important to the future of Marblehead and Swampscott. I see Lynn as a transportation hub, a future tech hub, life sciences hub, and you know, the success of Lynn means the success of the whole region. And so I think it's important, you know, as the rep for the district, I see that as the work is weaving together these communities and really promoting us as one.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you don't really have anything else to add to that. I think you summed it up very well, but I want to thank you again for coming on to join us and talk about this.
Come have me back. I would love to see you.
Yes, anytime. And
Thanks.
Once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.